All right, we are glad to be back for another episode of Uplifting Buzz podcast. And I'm your host, Gary Johnson. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Marcus Grover, Uplift Mobile. As always, I'm glad to have him on as our co-host. And this show is presented to you by Buzz Report Media and Uplift Mobile, two awesome media companies here on the Gulf Coast and in the city of Mobile, is bringing you informed information to help you better understand what's happening in and around our communities. And as always, we're honored to have you join in with us on today, listening to another episode of Uplifting Buzz podcast. Today is Thursday, October the 16th, and today is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Marlene. She turned the big 51 today, big beautiful 51 on today, and we say happy birthday to you on this awesome and wonderful Thursday in the year 2025. But as always, we have three awesome topics on today that we're going to dive into. And as a reminder, as you already know, this is a non-biased show where we have non-biased conversation about the things that are happening in our community. We do not take sides with one person or the other, but we just bring you the facts and have a clean, honest, open, non-biased dialogue about what's happening and what's important. And that being said, we're going to get right on into our show for this Thursday, October the 16th. And Mr. Grove, how is it going? How is it going with you, man?
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I want to say happy birthday to your sister as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you.
Yes. So it's always a great time to reach another birthday in this world. Goodness, so much is going on. And I'm liking the topics on today's show. So it's so much on the national standpoint and along the Gulf Coast here in Mobile that's going on. So, let's dive into it. As always, like you said, non-biased talk, whether it's from us, the host and co-host, or the guest that's on our show. It's always good to start off with the facts. So
that's correct. Yeah, so man, I'm telling you, it's so much happening as always. Every time we come on the airways to talk, there's always some breaking news, or there's been something that happened that we can talk about, whether it's good or bad. But there's always something going on. And, this week, fails us not. Since we've been on the air Tuesday, man, the government shutdown continues. We have two political parties going neck to neck, trying to win this battle, seeing who's going to be victorious, and the people are left on the sidelines just watching like it's a boxing match. Who's going to protect me? And then on the other side of the boxing match, you have those that saying they got us. We need more tax cuts. We need, more of this. I need to save some money here. Make me richer. And then over here, you got these people over here saying, I need more health care. I want my health care that I got. I like my health care. Don't take it away. Don't take my food stamp. Don't take my Social Security. Don't take my Medicare. Don't take my housing vouchers. Fight for us. Fight. Continue to fight. I don't care what you got to do. Fight. Then the other side is just saying, I don't care what you got to do. Just get it passed. Save my dollars. I don't want to pay no more taxes. I want to pay less taxes. Tax those that sitting at home ain't doing nothing. I don't care about them. That's what we got going on in Washington. That's what we got going on in Washington. We got the Republicans fighting to give wealthy tax cuts to the rich at the expense of cutting services, dire need services to the poor. Now I'm gonna say this. I try to say this, plain and simple, very understandable. If this bill passes in a Republican form, as is it written, there will be 15 million, and I'm not just using talking points because Democrats are saying it. It's just facts. Nearly 15 million residents or citizens in this country is going to lose some type of their health coverage, whether it's Obamacare, that is known as the ACH, whether it's Medicaid, Medicare, all of this subsidies that are tied into these healthcare programs is bound to be cut. Okay, in some form, shape, or fashion. There will be a lot of people without health care or very bare minimum. So, on top of that, you have a lot of hospitals that's going to close in rural areas because they can't afford to keep the doors open. Or is going to close in a lot of areas across this country because they can't afford to keep the doors open. They rely on this healthcare insurance to pay for these services that they're providing to the citizens in the areas that they are freestanding or they have actual hospitals. So not only that, you have federal employees now 2 weeks out of pay. They got mortgages coming up. They got rent coming up. They got car notes coming up. They got kid daycare payments got to be due, light bill, water bill, gas bill, cell phone bill, internet bill, whatever. I mean, all kind of bills, insurance, they bills are due. You got the military out there fighting. You got more of our National Guards on the streets all across the country because of Trump. They're not able to get paid. I guess I don't know if the state paying them because they are serving the state, the National Guard, but our federal troops are not getting paid. Then we have so many thousands of employees have now been laid off or furloughed. And then you have those that remain don't even know when their next paycheck going to come or if they're going to get retroactive payments from the past that's owed to them. Are they working for free? Will they continue to work for free? We don't know. When will the government open back up? We don't know. We in day 14. 2 weeks. We don't know. But one thing that I do know, Mr. Grove, we are in a crisis, and the crisis is getting deeper. It's getting deeper because this is going to take effect not only on just what I just mentioned, but our economy, the credit rating of this country, you know, so many things is at stake here. Because they're trying to protect a certain class of individual, 1% of individuals in this country, and deliver the promise and the work to one man, and his name is Donald Trump. Donald Trump got this whole country hostage because what he wants and a part of his friends that's in his pockets or who he aligned with. You know, he shouldn't be aligning with them anyway because he ain't on the scale with them as he say they are. But you know, his ego, end quote, that's who he is. But anyway, that's one of the topics tonight, and I'm gonna let you comment on that. Also, we have the Supreme Court of the United States on yesterday heard arguments in the challenge to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that protects minority voters, particularly African American voters, at the polling places, or having the opportunity to elect a representative of their choice and not being gerrymandered into districts where they do not have a voice. And that's what the Republicans have done several years in the past, leading up to this day, and they continue to do it, and they're getting away with it. And now that you have full control of the government, I mean, they're stripping away the rights of the people at any cost, and have no regret about it. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get to the point of why I say that in a minute. And it's ridiculous. I'm just sad about it. And then here local, right here in our back door, you got an old man that want to go out there, lay his hands on someone that's old enough to be his grandchild or great-grand or great-great-grand. You know what I'm saying? Had no business laying his hands on a child that someone entrusted to you to educate and help and become a better, productive citizen in this in life, or in this world. Now that child has to be traumatized. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we. I mean, upon a lot of other things going on, but that's what we're dealing with since Tuesday. Mr. Gore, I'm gonna let you dive in, and then I'll pick it back up. But I know you got some on your mind that you want to say about all three of these things, and I'm gonna let you have the flow.
Yes, yes. Goodness, I see that these are pressing issues that we have to talk about, and you pretty much explained and summarized, these or what's going on, and I just want to go back to the Trump issue. Okay, the definition of partisanship is prejudice in favor of a particular cause or biasness. And what you have going on in Washington is the president of the United States. I wouldn't call him a leader, but the president of the free world, Donald Trump, who doesn't understand truly what to be nonpartisan means as a president. Yeah, you went and got elected on the Republican platform, but when you become president, you have to be a president for everyone. That means the immigrants that's walking into your country illegally. Be the person that they look up to. Be the person that all races and all states look up to, not just the states that majority voted Republican. That's his tactic and his thought processes. It's flawed in so many ways. You have so many weak men in Washington right now that would rather be his puppet than stand up to him, right? They'd rather have that job and be in the limelight rather than stand up to him. You have the Republican, House of Representatives and the Senate that, to my knowledge, is controlled by Republicans who, instead of standing up to him and even not necessarily standing up to him, but offering advisement to him in the corner somewhere, instead of just doing his bidding, you have lots of representatives and senators that would rather just do what he wants them to do and carry on, right? And we all know why, right? Because he is that savior that that individuals who align themselves with these white nationalistic groups believe in. They believe that he's that savior, that, hey, because of all these groups that are rising, we would get eliminated just by the amount of people having babies or whatever. That decision to be for Trump is really out of the hatred for others.
Mm.
And for me, I always talk about George Washington. I believe that George Washington was the best president that ever, was the president of the United States. The reason being is because he believed in nonpartisanship, right? Forget about the prejudice that you have. Once you become president, you're entrusted by all the people, right? And in his 1796 farewell speech over 229 years ago, he talked about this same thing. He talked about how a two-party system just cannot stand. He talked about how, and I want to use some of his direct words. He talked about how two-party systems can become potent engines for cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men to usurp power and harm the public good. He also stated that partisanship distracts the public counsel and enfeebles the public administration and can incite conflict through ill-founded jealousies and false alarms. I mean, who does that sound like? That is in effect Donald Trump. The way he the way he spurs hatred among his people, the way he incites fear. That fear mongering tactic. It's not anything different than Mussolini or Adolf Hitler. Right? It's the same thing that they did. And in George Washington's 1796 farewell speech, he talked about that. And I just think that, it's on us to wake up. We can talk about being already woke, but the problem lies that people that align themselves against Trump, such as, uh, white Democrats, are not going against Trump in full force because even they can, be petitioned as that enemy.
Mhm.
The worst thing than in the old days, the worst thing than being a black was being a black lover, right? And so in this case, being against or being in the out group, although you look like visually you should be aligned with that in group, puts the target on you. And, I think that for uh, Democrats that are white, they don't want to go down that road. They rather just have peace and just deal with, respecting the office of the presidency. But Donald Trump does not respect the office of the president himself. And now you have conservative justices who some of them Trump has put into office, who are now going against the 1965 voter rights bill, right? You have a conservative 6-3 Supreme Court that 6 of them are conservative, and for the reality of it, you have Clarence Thomas, you have John Roberts, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, and you have Brett Kavanaugh, and then Amy Coney Barrett, who are all conservative Republicans in office or conservative justices. And in reality, this brings us back to reality that justices or judges should not be Republican or Democrat. Should not be in reality, should leave that alone and just judge based on history, present, and then the future, and based on law. But what you have is an eroding of the Supreme Court and the justice system for the sake of appeasing Donald Trump and his minions that are in office. And
Mhm.
what we're dealing with is the full brunt of Project 2025. We're dealing with the full brunt of Project 2025. And although Donald Trump is trying to or said that he would pay the military, right? Because obviously he wants them to do his bidding if called upon, everybody else is suffering. Everybody else is suffering. You already see store prices that have went sky high this summer. Now you're seeing other items that are too expensive for the everyday person to afford. And what you're seeing is the elites, or I hate calling them the elites, but that 1% that you spoke about, that are so aligned with Trump's vision only because of the reality that he's for them. That's the same idea that individuals that got money during COVID, they all for Trump now because he gave out $600. It's the same idea that you're supporting a person for what he can give you versus the ideas that would later on in the future, which is now presenting in the present,
Mhm.
now it's affecting us, and it's affecting us big time.
Right.
And I'm like you said, I'm hurt by that. I'm hurt by it.
Yeah, man. We are in just in a, how can I put this? We're just in a serious moment right now in life. I'm just gonna say it that way. We're in a serious moment in life, and we are walking in the reality of dictatorship. You know, we are walking in reality to a certain group and class of people that are seeking a one-party system. You know, we are walking in reality, watching the clock be rewind, taking us back to a time where I wasn't even born to experience what our forefathers went through, and what they fought for. And everything that they experienced, with the beatings, the killings, the hangings, the marches, the rallies, to get to this day that we thought we was free, and we had gained some rights, that we was progressing forward, not looking backwards. That we thought at some point we was cracking the glass ceiling. And come to find out, in reality, in this day and time, we can honestly say we are rewinding the clock. We are not there yet. We are not there yet. And for those of us that are not paying attention to this, I encourage you to start paying attention, because this is real. It's like one side don't even have a say in the political system. They don't have. They don't have a voice. It's being controlled by one political party, which is in control of the entire federal government at this point in time. And that's Republicans. They are ruling everything. They got to say in everything, but they want to point the blame on Democrats and say it's Democrats' fault. It's Democrats that vote to shut the government down. No. It's not the Democrats' fault. And the Democrats did not vote to shut the government down, because Democrats are not in control. They don't have enough votes to be in control. And if it were, they'll be in the majority. And Hakeem Jefferson in the House will be Speaker of the House. What's his name? The senator from New York, Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer will be the majority leader in the Senate if the Democrats was in control. If they was in control. But in reality, the real picture is Democrats are not in control at all. Republicans are in control. And they're pointing the finger at American people, thinking that it's the Democrats' fault while we're going through this. No, it's not. It's not the Democrats' fault. Let's be honest about this situation. Hakeem Jefferson brought up a very important point. I talked about this Tuesday when he approached one of the Republicans and asked the question. Back in the summer of this year, when they passed the Big Beautiful Bill, did they need the help of Democrats to pass that bill? No, they did not. They ran through it. They didn't even give people enough time to read the bill. They voted, passed that bill with their own political party, gave President Donald Trump everything Project 2025 had, a majority of it had in it, to the president. Just gave it to him. Rubber stamped that bill, gave it to him, didn't care what it would do to the American people, what it would do to our country, what it would do to our democracy. They gave it to him. Now, 2 or 3 months later, you want to come point the blame because, You wasn't so popular as a political party passing the big beautiful bill. Now you need some blame to go along with you all in the next round. And now we are in the next round of this fight. We're in this boxing ring on the round 2. And now you need a spending bill to keep the government open. But you don't want to go down the road like you did 2 months ago with this big, beautiful bill. You want to take the Democrats along with you because you want them to vote with you so you can go back to your home district or go on TV and talk about, oh, we had a bipartisan bill. We worked together. We know how to get things done. No. It's not going to happen this time. Take the blame for yourself. You're governing. You're showing the people how you govern. You govern. So the people can see what you would do to them. You don't need no help to kill nobody. You can do that on your own. Hold your own 2 feet. You know? You don't need a Democrat to sign on to your mess that's killing the country.
Yes.
So if you're not paying attention to what's happening, now is the time to start paying attention because this is getting real. This is so real, and I'm telling you, they are moving so fast because they don't want you to realize what's happening. They don't want you to pay attention. They want you to think it's always they just doing it the same old, same old. No, they're not. They are actually handling their business. They are doing what the president wished for, what he campaigned on. They are making it happen right here before our eyes. And they want to come out and sweet talk like, oh, everything is okay. Everybody's going to be okay. They don't want to tell the truth. They are spending their lives for one man. For one man, but to protect one man. But let me tell you, Mr. Grove, the representative out of Georgia that was so bent on Donald Trump, all of his pockets protected, talking up for him, Marjorie Green Taylor out of Georgia, this conservative woman, the Looney Tune. I don't know how she got elected to office. A lot of these Republicans, I don't know how they got elected to office, being in an unstable mind as they are, and some is uneducated. It's like they came from that pig shack that's on their farmland. I'm saying it. I'm just saying it how it is. I'm just wondering how did some of these folks get to the office that they're holding. Some of these people. They shouldn't even be walking the streets trying to lead a blind dog. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know how. I just don't know how people wrapped around their mindsets to even vote for these people. And think it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay when you do damage to somebody's life. It's not okay when you judge. It's not okay when you try to dictate what services and people are going to receive because of the color of their skin. I thought the Bible said that we was all brothers and sisters. We serve. We had the same Father in heaven that created us all. Black and white shouldn't even matter, but in reality, it does in their eyes. Racism is still in full effect, and it's happening more now than it did 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But I'm telling you, they're taking it back to 60 years and 70 years ago.
Make America great again.
And we thought that was funny. We thought it was so. We thought it was a sweet slogan. But in actuality, it was a real slogan to make America great again. That's how they perceived it 60 and 70 and 80 years ago. When they brought the slaves over here, they wanted to make the land great for them. The same land that they stole. They don't want us talking about that. They came over here and stole their land. But now they was immigrants. Now because other people come over to the land that they stole, they are wrong. They are immigrants. They don't belong us here. Well, they don't belong here either. I don't belong here. They brought us over here. Against our will. They stole us. That's stealing. The Bible should not. If you want to get real technical with it, the Bible said, "Thou shalt not what steal." You stole us from our land over there, and you brought us way across the country. That's how we got over here. You stole. You came over here and stole. You stole. STOLE. The land that didn't belong to you. You stole. So how can you say, "Well, we're gonna put the 10 Commandments up in the courthouse. We're gonna put the 10 Commandments up in the schoolhouse, the churches that you go worship in, these Christian conservatives," but you cannot admit to the fact that your forefathers, that your people stole. They were stealers. They stole. That is a sin. And you can't admit it. You can't admit it. But that's what we're living in.
Mm-hmm. And that right there is a part of that Project 2025, that Make America Great Again. That is exactly what's happening now, is pretty much exactly what Trump envisioned. And one of the biggest ways that these things are happening is the judicial system takes time to process. These judges, especially in the district courts, in the circuit courts, they're just one person. Even when you have a 3-panel judge system, in these appellate courts, they still take time. It takes time to deliberate on an issue. And that's what the executive branch knows. And that's what they came in full swinging at the beginning. They're not allowing these judges time to process anything. And so what's happening is, and also a part of it is, to contest something, these judges are out of the loop. They're just processing court cases. To contest something, it has to come from the district attorneys. It has to come from prosecutors. It has to come from some type of other entity. These sheriffs in town, these mayors in town, even the governor of Alabama are just not doing their job. They're out of the loop. The governor of Alabama, I mean, the thing is that, God bless her, but she's elderly. Let's just be honest. She's out of the mental status of knowledge and understanding to the point where she's a peer. She's in the same peer group as Trump. They're both elderly in their 80s. And not saying that someone at that age can't comprehend or understand, but let's understand where their mental is. Their mental is back in 80 years ago. 80 years ago, past the 1960s. We're talking about the 1940s. 1950s. That's the time that they're growing up in. Mm-hmm. And so where they want to take it back to, what they remember. And that's where lynchings was normal. Mm-hmm. That's when police beatings and standing up somebody on the side of the road just because they're walking on the street was normal. And so that's what they want to take it back to. And it's quite unfortunate. I would say that it's really not enough going on in Black communities to where they're actually standing up and saying anything. Too much of us are locked up in prisons to the point where you can't really determine or dictate anything. Too many Black men are in prisons. The NAACP is so ineffective right now. I mean, they were at the Supreme Court hearing fighting for this Voters' Right Act of 1965, but the judges walked all over them and said, "Hey, what they're doing is legal. They can do this if they want in Louisiana." It's quite unfortunate that all this money that the NAACP has, they're really not as effective as they should be, and really it's because of their standoff approach with other Black organizations, with these colleges, HBCUs, they're not connected uniformly as they should be. I think another problem with NAACP is, they have deterred uh, from supporting people of color to now the NAACP supports this whole gay agenda, you know, and I think that by adding that adds a conflict to what was actually fought for. Yes, we shouldn't persecute anyone that's different than us just because they're different. However, when you have an organization for the advancement of colored people, then let's just stay on for the advancement of colored people. But now we're for the advancement of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that just conflicts with the NAACP, and because of that, so many people who have supported NAACP over the years are now looking at the NAACP like, hey, what are y'all doing? What's going on? Let me take my money away from you all and support some other or noble organization, because now they have deterred from that in such a way that pits them against the very people who have supported them for so long, and that's church going black folk. But
Mm.
now there's some type of radical organization that needs to be hemmed up. So I think that in a lot of ways, with NAACP headquarters being right there in Washington, they have no say so in a lot of things, because they're not really partitioning for other organizations and black organizations to be in communication with them or doing things in the right way. And I'm not saying that we should persecute any lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender person at all. No, they're people. However, if this is the organization for the advancement of colored people, let it just be that.
Right.
There's many organizations that are for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. Let them have their organization. But if you have an advancement for colored people organization, now just leave it at that. So for them to be right there, they're just too ineffective.
Yeah, a lot of our people have become silent, man. It seems like we're losing the battle. And that's what the other side want. They want us to feel that way. They want us to be warring down, warring out, so we won't have no fight back. And that's how they're winning. Just watching yesterday, this Supreme Court hearing, this challenge to the Louisiana case, that new congressional district that was drawn to give blacks an opportunity to elect a leader based off a fair amount representation of citizens in the state of Louisiana. Now, just remind you, I just want to point this fact. This is a fact. This is not on my opinion. I want to remind us that's listening. The same Supreme Court, the same justices that's on the Supreme Court now voted 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, 5-4, 5-4, in a majority, to give Alabama the same seat they gave in Louisiana, to create the second congressional district as a majority black district, an opportunity district where African Americans can vote and elect the candidate of their choice. 2 years later, when Trump is back in office, you got his party, the same justice that he appointed, rubber stamping, pushing through, what he wants. Now, it's not, I'm just going to be honest, it's no secret that these people talk behind the scenes. They know what he wants, So now, 2 years later, you come back and say, oh, what we said in 2 or 3 years ago, it don't matter. It's what we're going to do now. Oh, we might have made a mistake then. We're going to correct it now. Their goal is to dilute blacks from Congress, blacks out of power. Their goal is to dilute and kill the Democratic Party and their voice in political process. That's their goal. Their goal is to pick up 20 or more seats next year and years to come. That's their goal. If this law passes, if they rule in favor of this challenge to Louisiana, we're looking at other states rolling back Democratic seats left and right. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at rolling back the Voting Rights Act, killing it as it is. And the Republicans and whites can say, "Oh, we don't want Democrats in control." They got to, find a way to win if they can. If they want the power. But in other words, they have none because we don't want them to have none. We're not going to be fair in this game. No, they're not going to rule us. They're not going to tell us what to do. They're not going to legislate and be in control of nothing. I'm just going to see how some of them is maybe thinking, we they master. So if we want to get technical about it, since we're talking about racism and all this stuff they got going on, that's what it is. Yeah. So we got to fight on our hands. But what surprises me and what hurts me so bad that I don't see many people fighting. I just don't see it. Man, I think about this all the time. There was a leader over the waters. I want to say Afghanistan, Iraq, during that time, during the war. They surrounded his mansion until he resigned and stepped down. I can't remember what country that was. But those people were serious about their democracy and their rights. But over here, man, we silent and we walk and we move in fear. And that's what's happening in our political system now. Republicans, not all are with the regime of Donald Trump, his authoritarianism and dictatorship, but they have to vote alone because they're part of the party. But man, these justices that's ruling on the Supreme Court, everything Donald Trump appeal, he know he loses in the lower courts, and he appealed it to the Supreme Court because he already know that the same people, guys and gals that he appointed, is going to back him and let him have his way, and he can walk to somebody. Oh, I'm victorious. I've been victorious in the appeal process. I was right all along. No, you just got people scared of you. They're bowing down to you, and they're scared of what you're going to do to them if they come against you and rule against you. That's why they're ruling in the way that they are, because they are ruling in fear of retaliation. They are scared. Every Republican up there that's is scared for their lives right now. They're scared. They're scared of one man, and one man will actually cause to happen to them, and they don't want that. That's why they're rubber stamping everything that the president put before them, and it's okay with them because they're cowards. They're cowards. They are bullies, and they're scared for their lives. That's what we got right now. And the Republicans are scared to stand up against Donald Trump. They're scared. And then you got some that refuse to stand up to him. They're leaving. They don't want to be they don't want to be there no more. They go back home. They're not running no more. They're getting out of there. That is sad. That's really sad, and it lets the American people know what type of human being you are. It lets us know that you have no fight in you. You are a coward, and you never deserve to be there. You lied to get there. Oh, I'm gonna fight for the American people. I'm gonna fight for my people. Where's the fight? Where's the fight? You don't love this country. You don't love democracy. If you can't stand up to it, and you can't stand up to somebody that's trying to destroy it, you don't love this country, and you don't love our democracy.
This weekend we actually have the No Kings rally kicking off again in DC and major cities, including Mobile. So this one's supposed to be bigger than the last one. I'm anxious to see, how big it is and what's going to go down, especially in DC.
Yeah. Let their voices be heard. But man, we need to take the fight to Washington. We need to
Yeah.
take this fight to Washington and let them people know up there that we are not scared like they are. If they don't want to fight for, excuse me, if they don't want to fight for us, we need to fight for ourselves. We are paying the tax dollar. This is our country. And we elect these people to do a job for us, not themselves, or not 1%. This is our country, a unified country, supposed to be the land of the free. But we're not living in the land of free right now. We're not doing that. But it is what it is, Mr. Grove, on that subject. But man, let me tell you, a man in his 60s went to Ella Grant Elementary School in Pritchard and laid his hands on somebody's daughter that's less than 10, 12 years old. Now, I just want to know, what was this man thinking? I mean, at 60 years old, man, you should be somewhere trying to retire, enjoy the rest of your life, have a cup of coffee, watching your soap operas, or out there, feeding the cows, or man, I mean, what possessed this man to go to the schoolhouse and lay his hands on somebody's daughter? Now you will be have to spend. I mean, if you go to jail, spend the rest of your life possibly in jail, and be labeled as a sex offender for the remainder of your life. But you had no business going to the schoolhouse and laying your hands on a child that wasn't yours, or a child, period. A child. So you tell me you ain't got a wife at home you can go kiss and hug and flirt with? And you a grown man, there's plenty of grown women that's out there that you can go out there and find or talk to. Somebody looking for somebody. It's somebody for everybody. But you chose to go lay your hands on somebody's child. Mr. Grove, what do you think about?
It's crazy, man. I mean, when I first seen it, I thought that was a woman. I for some reason it didn't visually look as a man, but he is up in age. But for him to have done that, goodness, that is crazy. And then the actual crime didn't fit the look of the person either. If you was to tell that to somebody, the crime itself, and who the person was, you would think the person's different looking, I guess. It's unfortunate, in this day and age, but you have so much that's going on that people are getting off at. You have Donald Trump, who also has committed crimes, but he's still president. And I think that in a lot of ways, because of the failure of the judicial system and the breakdown in it, it's almost as if you can get away with a lot of different things. I just hope that in this case, he's punished and find some type of, reconciliation for it. But my heart goes out to the child and then the family as well. Goodness, it's insane. I personally, on a personal note, aside from all of this, I just think it's not enough street justice out there in some cases like this, because we live in this, civilized society. But that crime, whatever punishment he gets, will not fit the crime itself. Because there's nothing that you really can do to take back what the child has gone through or the family of the child. So, God help everybody who's involved.
Yeah. Man, I feel for that the victim in that situation, being traumatized and have to live with that, not even old enough to experience acts of that nature. And when they become of age to experience it, they have to think back on what happened to them. That's bad. That's bad. That's really
Mhm.
bad. How you can't experience the life that you want to experience on your own. Let it be a first on your own, but it was taken from
Mhm.
you. Bad. That's bad. And it's bad that an individual such as this has to make this happen to a young child like that. Even
Mhm.
and let me say this. Let me say this for the record. If it happened, there's no proof. I don't have any proof that it did happen. But every person is innocent until proven guilty. But I'm just saying, if it did happen, um, woe unto you, man. I mean, because that's bad. Um, I feel for that family and that child. And I'm glad the child reported it. If it happened, I'm glad that the child said something, spoke up about it, and not let such acts continue because it could have been much serious and much worse than it is. And I congratulate that child for being brave and
Mhm.
standing up for herself to report this. But that's what's been happening, you all, in the last couple of days in the news, and we wanted to bring it and share it with you all. We hope that you all, uh, you know, understand what we are talking about today um, on this podcast. We're not, like I said, we're not taking sides with anyone. We just bringing you the facts and these conversations as we know it. All right, Mr. Grove. Today is the first day of open enrollment for Medicare, and we know that you out there in the fight, making it happen, making sure that people have the right coverage and plans that they need for 2026. And we know that the news came down yesterday that some insurance company may be dropping millions of Americans or some of their prescriptions, and they may not be covered as you may thought. So everybody that's listening to this podcast need to, if you know somebody's on Medicare or receiving Medicare or you own it, uh, you need to check your plans, make sure nothing is changing, make sure all your prescriptions are covered, your doctors or whatever, your specialists, and make sure you're in the right plan and you're covered under the right company. And we have our co-host here that's assisting with that. And I'm going to give him the final few minutes to talk about that and how you can get in contact with him if you want to switch companies, switch plans, or whatever it may be. Now is the time while it's open enrollment. Mr. Grove.
Yes, thank you so much. So, if you're in Alabama, along the Gulf Coast, if you're in the Florida Panhandle, or in Florida, myself and a group of other individuals have a company called Growth Intelligence Partners, where we actually assist individuals in finding financial advisors who can assist them in many different things. But in the case of Medicare, Medicaid, it is open enrollment season now, and there's so much going on. I mean, this is one of the issues that we're going on right now in the government shutdown, is trying to end Obamacare, and for so many millions of individuals, some of your plans may change, your medications may be dropped. Some doctors will be coming out of network and going into other networks that suit them best. And the plans are changing. So, if you're looking for a Medicare plan, this is for individuals who are classified as disabled or 65 and older. If you have your red, white, and blue card, go to workwithgip.com and, enroll in a plan, do your Medicare survey. So once you do your Medicare survey, you will get a call from a financial advisor. It is a phone number on there where we can assist you to do your Medicare survey as well. So, we look forward to your phone call. We look forward to assisting you with the situations at hand, because you don't want to be left out. You don't want to be left out when December 7th is the last day. And once it closes, it closes. And we're going to go into 2026. Go
Okay.
to the website, gip.com.
And those of you that do not have health care, if you don't have health care, get enrolled into Obamacare, the ACH, by going to the website online. You can type it in on Google, ACH Healthcare or Obamacare. Pull that up. Sign up for healthcare. Contact Mr. Grove. He'll also assist you in signing up for some type of healthcare coverage and plans. And I'm pretty sure you have many options that they can provide and offer you according to your needs and your financial stability. So make sure you go to workwithgip.com and sign up, send them a message or call them, let them know you need health care, insurance, some type of medical insurance, healthcare insurance, or you want to enroll into a new plan or check on your plan and make sure that you got the right coverage. Now is the time until the month of December and the 7th day of December at midnight to make this happen. Until then, this has been another episode of Uplifting Buzz podcast with yours truly, Gary Johnson, Buzz Report Media, and Mr. Marco Grove, my co-host of Uplift Mobile. Until next time, we ask you to tune in to us on Tuesday and be blessed.